All right, today we're going to go way beyond the daily headlines about data breaches. We're going to explore a scenario that could seriously define the next decade of our lives. A massive cyber attack powered by AI.
So what actually happens when we face a cybersecurity crisis where AI is the main weapon, the ultimate defense, or maybe even both at the same time? And to really get our heads around what that future might look like, you know what we have to do? We got to look back at the past.
You know, they say the future often rhymes with the past. And in cybersecurity, man, history has some serious lessons for us. And frankly, they're pretty alarming. These past cyber shocks show a pattern that becomes incredibly important when we throw AI into the mix.
Okay, so look at this timeline. It shows a really scary evolution. It all started back in '88 with the Morris worm, which was basically a programming accident that got so out of hand, it forced us to create the first real incident response teams. And then you get Stuxnet in 2010, which proved that computer code could literally break things in the physical world. By 2015, with attacks on Ukraine's power grid, it was terrifyingly clear that our most vital infrastructure was a target. And the pattern here? It's impossible to ignore. We build the walls after the bad guys are already inside.
Which, of course, brings us to right now. We haven't had that big, globally recognized uh-oh moment for AI security. Not yet, anyway. But here's the thing. All the ingredients, they're already on the table. We have incredibly powerful AI models, we have our critical systems connected to the internet, and there are some very strong incentives for attackers.
So, where does AI fit into all this? Let's dig into how it takes these old patterns and just supercharges them into something totally new and way, way more dangerous.
Okay, if there's one big lesson from history, it's this. We grab the cool new tech first, and then maybe kind of worry about securing it later. We did it with the internet. We did it with cloud computing. So what's the takeaway? AI is going to be woven into the fabric of our lives long before we figure out all the ways it can break. And this is where you see the core conflict, right? AI is this huge force multiplier for both sides. On one side, attackers can now automatically cook up perfect, super personalized phishing emails, not one by one, but by the million. They can find software bugs without breaking a sweat. But on the flip side, the good guys can use AI to spot tiny, weird things happening on a network that no human would ever catch. It is a genuine arms race, and it's speeding up every single day. And this arms race, well, it's leading us to make some pretty predictable and really dangerous mistakes. We're just throwing AI models into production without thinking through security. We're letting AI make huge decisions with no human in the loop to double-check its work. And maybe the biggest problem of all is that nobody seems to agree on who's actually responsible for keeping this stuff safe. Is it the data scientists, the IT team? That confusion? That's the exact gap that attackers are designed to jump right into. Okay, so what does one of these major incidents actually look like? Let's walk through 3 scenarios that could totally happen. And just to be super clear, this isn't sci-fi, these are just logical next steps from what's already possible today. All right, scenario 1, the AI-powered supply chain attack. Picture this, an attacker doesn't bother coming after you directly. Instead, they use AI to find just one tiny weakness in a super popular AI tool that thousands of companies use. They slip a little piece of malicious code into that one thing and boom, it spreads like a virus to every single person and company using that tool. You'd see massive data loss and a total collapse of trust in the very AI systems we're starting to build our economy on. Okay, next up, an attack on the real physical world. An AI just sits there silently for weeks, learning the normal rhythm of a city's power grid, and then it creates a perfect deepfake voice, a voice that sounds exactly like a senior engineer, and calls up a control room with a super convincing, urgent-sounding, but totally fake emergency command. The result? Total chaos. We're talking rolling blackouts, traffic gridlock, maybe even a fake alert about contaminated water, all of it designed for one reason, to create massive public panic. Now, this last one, this might be the scariest of all just because it's so sneaky. In this case, the AI itself is the weapon. What happens is, while the AI is learning, an attacker secretly poisons the data, teaching it a hidden malicious habit. The model passes all its tests, it looks perfect, and it gets deployed at a huge bank. From the inside, it starts making thousands of tiny, bad decisions, approving a few extra fraudulent loans here and there, misdirecting a little bit of money, all while looking like it's working perfectly. It's basically committing theft at a massive scale, and it's completely invisible to any human trying to watch over it.
Okay, look, those scenarios are pretty terrifying, I know, but they are not inevitable. So let's switch gears from the problem to the solution. Understanding the risks is step one, but now we need to talk about what we can actually do about it, starting right now.
You see, the fallout from a big AI attack isn't just about the initial damage. The ripple effects would be absolutely massive. First, public trust in any AI would just evaporate. We could also face a real economic shock if our financial systems, which lean on AI, start to fail. And you can bet we'd get a knee-jerk reaction from governments, leading to rushed, clumsy regulations that could end up stifling innovation for years. So for governments, the name of the game has to be proactive, not reactive. First up, they have to figure out which AI systems are actually critical, the ones running our power grid or our financial markets. For those systems, they have to demand higher security standards. That means forcing companies to do stuff like threat modeling, which is basically just thinking like a hacker to find weaknesses before they get used against you, and building response centers that bring government and industry together before a crisis hits.
Now, for the companies that are actually building this stuff, security can't be some afterthought you tack on at the end. It has to be baked in from the very beginning. This means adopting what we call a zero-trust mindset. It's a simple idea. Trust nothing, verify everything, all the time. And this is so important. They have to plan for failure. What's the plan B when the AI messes up or goes offline? You've got to have a manual override that a human can use.
And finally, for the folks on the front lines, the operators in our power plants and our water facilities, the rules have to be dead simple and crystal clear. Rule number 1, keep the important networks completely separate from the public internet. No connection, period. Rule 2, you always need a human to give the final okay for any big action the AI suggests. And rule 3, train your people constantly so they know how to spot these new AI-powered deepfakes and phishing scams.
So here's the bottom line. A major AI security incident. It's not really a question of if. It's a question of when. This is not some far-off sci-fi story. It's basically a guaranteed stress test for this incredibly complex, AI-powered world we're building at a wild pace.
I want to leave you with one final thought that really just wraps this whole challenge up. History shows us again and again that when you mix three things together, crazy powerful tech, super complex systems, and weak oversight, disasters aren't just a possibility, they're pretty much inevitable. Hey, thanks so much for sticking with me through this deep dive. If this explainer helped you see AI and cybersecurity in a new light, do me a favor and hit that like button. And I really want to know what you think, so drop a comment below and tell me which of these future scenarios we should tackle next. AI in warfare, AI in our economies, or AI in climate resilience? All right, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.